What's going on, folks? This is Steve with Race Day, and we are here today with the ASRA Harpoon Design Cup Series in Talladega, right smack in the middle of our Midseason Madness tournament. We are in the biggest track we go to, the 2.66 mile monster, excuse me. Man, right now, this is going to be one hell of a race. Huge crowd today in a huge field. Right now, in qualifying, getting right down to it right now. Qualifying underway. They only get one lap. Keep in mind, so all of these drivers trying to get themselves on top. Can they do that right now? A lot of guys coming around here. A lot of guys seems like they want to get out early. Interestingly enough, Thomas George on top as we see it so far. Going to see a lot of these guys making their laps and turning all kinds of things right now. We have a lot to discuss before we get to this race. There's a warm-up session in just a minute after the qualifying, so we'll get to some things, but man, right now this is going to be a lot of fun. Talladega has always been one of those tracks that is a wild card, and Blaze Crawford to the front of the field right now. On top, there he is. Kenny Reel in P4. John Hagen to the top in that FU Cancer paint scheme. It is October now, starting today, so it is the breast cancer awareness. Good stuff right there. Mark Whitley on the track. Man, everyone running their laps. Here's Austin Salyers. Michael Johnson, P2. Good effort by a lot of these guys, man. James Kaufman, look at this, P6 for him. Awesome. Andrew Phipps to P2. Top of the board really just keeps changing. But again, they only get one lap, so that's the key. It's getting yourself up front and staying up front. 88. Matthew Fleming in P13 right there. Bowie on track now, too, in that, man, nice looking pink Gremlins cards paint scheme. Looking good for sure. John Hagen still up front right now by by nothing. Look at that. Such a close gap. Grant Salzano gets to 13th. Not a bad run right there. Zelazny. Here he is. Coming around. You can right there. You can cut that. You can cut that yellow line on qualifying. Cannot do that in the race. Let's keep that in mind. Man, so far, great job. Brandon Bowie to P6 right there. A good effort. Qualifying just about done right now. Nobody else really on track. Zelazny, Salzano, they are, but they just finished up their one lap. So it looks like John Hagen will be our pole sitter. Still waiting on confirmation, and once the session does trickle out, but almost 40 cars today in the field. Man, awesome time. Cannot wait to get this thing going. The Blackened American Whiskey 272. We'll talk more about that in a second. But man, huge shout out to them, Blackened American Whiskey. Right now, we're going to get a warm-up session going. We're going to talk to our sponsors real quick, Blackened American Whiskey, and a couple others. So stick around, folks. We'll come right back for the beginning of Talladega.
This is a whiskey for those who follow their own path. Bold, flavorful, award-winning whiskey. Born from the finest American straight bourbons and ryes, and reborn in brandy casks, pummeled with sound. Until the only thing left is a reverberating, full-bodied flavor that won't stop when the crowd has gone home. Blackened. This is American whiskey. Remastered.
Welcome back, folks. Right now, this is the Blackened American Whiskey 272 here in Talladega. You just saw the commercial, the Blackened American Whiskey. You'll know that partnership with Metallica, obviously, the world-famous metal band, so everyone knows who Metallica is. We have a big fan of Metallica in the field today, Daryl Young. We'll show you his car in just a second, but sponsored today by Blackened American Whiskey and in partnership with Rabbit Hole. So really cool stuff there, and man, awesome to have them on board, and just cool stuff, right? Cannot wait to talk more about them as the race goes on, man. But really cool stuff today. Bunch of guys right now in warm-up session as we see it. Qualifying is over, and just a quick warm-up before we go green here for the race. But 272 laps, miles, 103 laps. So anybody who's a Metallica fan, that number comes from the 72 Seasons, which is their current tour and album, basically like it's their anniversary and whatnot. So that's the album name. So normally it would have been a 250, but the 272 was kind of a cheeky way of shouting out them. So pretty cool stuff there. And man, Daryl Young, yeah, rolling off that paint scheme, looking really good. We'll show you that in just a second. But a couple of notables today for sure. A lot of subs. Subbing in for drivers. We'll try and cover them as we see them. Right now, not everybody is on track practicing, so can't show you them all, but we will get to them as we get to the grid and whatnot. But a couple we can definitely mention. Brian Dixon, here he is right here. You'll know him from a couple of seasons ago. He was full-time, and he won the Atlanta race for the first time. Came down to a nail-biter. Had to review it post-race. And Brian Dixon won that race, and that was his first and only win. So comes back now, a couple of seasons. Tries to practice that green flag pit stop, and around he goes. But so Brian Dixon's back, subbing in for Frankie Barroso. Frankie's out for today's race and next week at Indianapolis, so he's one to watch out for sure. Brantley Roden, here he is, man. Harpoon Design himself. Christian Angel, unfortunately today, he's actually in that North Carolina region for the hurricane that went through, so his power's still out. And man, Brantley, the team owner for Harpoon Design Racing, as well as our sponsor, Harpoon Design, said, you know what? This is the perfect time. You know, he's one of those guys that you'll always see him in Draft Masters and, you know, A-class races. He really only does these kinds of races, the super speedways and things like this. So the opportunity was pretty perfect for him to jump in the car for once and, you know, do an actual ASRA race. So pretty cool. Going from the spotter stand and the paint booth to the cockpit. Pretty cool stuff there. So we'll watch him subbing in for Christian Angel today. A few more. We do see Drew Jua. You'll know him from a couple seasons ago. Won Daytona in the first not the first season, excuse me, season 3, and all kinds of stuff. So we'll get through them as we go. But 103 laps. We're gonna get right down to trackside in just a few seconds here. Our great sponsors right there. Man, cannot wait to get this thing going as always. John Hagan, again, is your pole sitter today. Take a look at all these drivers. Everyone's starting to grid here. We'll get down to it. Here we go. Pole sitter, John Hagan. There he is. Bunch of breast cancer awareness paint schemes today and probably throughout October. Can't wait to show you each and every one of these. Andrew Phipps P2, Michael Johnson going to be in third spot right there. Blaze Crawford rolling off in P4. Multiple time winner this season so far, and I'll tell you what, he is looking to get a couple more very, very fast driver in that 12. Jeremy Miller, and great run, and man, I love this paint scheme. I saw it earlier. Kind of reminds me of like a Minecraft sunset. I don't know why, but man, I love it. Looks so good. Brandon Bowie, P5. Thomas George rolling off in P7. Julio Villalobos, P8. Brantley Roden, 9th place. James Kaufman, 10th. 11th through 20th, Anderson. Grant Celzano, Joseph Mealy, Kenny Reel, Daryl Young. There he is, that blackened machine. Man, love this paint scheme, that 71. Thomas Meeks, Kenny Reel, Brandon Six, Matthew Fleming, Nick Lights, Matthew Pont. Kenny Brady subbing in for David Medina today. That's Max Brady's brother, so There he is, Devin Smecker, that Murphy Esport machine. Oh my word, look at that paint scheme. Whew. Love it. Drew Jua filling in for that 54 machine for Flagship Motorsports. Max Brady. Trevor Zlasny, 25th. Mark Whitley next in line there, 26th spot. Greg Robinson, Austin Salyers. Tim Robb, Dylan Bates rounding out the top 30. Then rounding up the top of the finishing order, Tyler Dohar, Jacob Wiest, Stubblefield, Brian Dixon in that 48 we talked about, Ryan Dunkelberger. Good stuff. Marshall Harris in 36th spot, not on the track right now. See where he ends up if he even starts the race, but man, good stuff by these guys. Long race, but the first stage is pretty short, 20 laps. Big race right now. A lot to talk about during the race. Mid-season madness going on right now. This is the middle race of that tournament. We'll talk about how that is going on. We'll also talk about the subs we've got going on. We'll talk about, man, getting down to playoffs here pretty soon. A lot is going down pretty quick. But right now, Talladega, the Blackened American Whiskey, 272. Always a fan favorite, always a driver favorite. Talladega, 2.66 miles of just high intensity. Here we go. Starter cam has it. The green flag in the Got Cover Restart Zone. We are green for the Blackened American Whiskey, 272. And just like that, one lap under our belt right now, the front of the line, Michael Johnson doing a great job on the high line right here. You're seeing him being pushed by his teammate, Andrew Phipps. Doing a really good job right there. The outside line typically in this car is preferred. So I expect to see the outside line today work really, really well as the race goes on. Inside line can work, but you really have to have some good help. Also starting to see some 3 wide action going on in the back already. And just like that, 3 wide. Stage 1 is quick, right? So 20 laps, that's all it's going to take to get to the end of the first stage. Stage points matter, but you can't risk it all. You have to get to the end of this long 103 lap race to get yourself in position to win. And we always call these races wild cards, right? Because they definitely are. Anybody can win this race, but you have to get there to the end, right? But man, good stuff all around, man. Stage 1 already hotly contested. A couple of drivers I want to watch out for too. We're seeing a lot of that pink. Makes it nice and easy to look out for the Murphy Esport drivers. They're in pink today. We can see them clear as Dale's right on board real quick to Devin Smecker. Look at this Hosky hot lap right now. Smecker way in the back, 28th spot. But this is sometimes key, and this can be planned too, right? Stay in the back. You've got your teammates right in front of you. Mealy and Lights. Stay in the back, avoid the mess. We're seeing 3 wide action throughout the field already in lap 4. The big one can happen at any point. You don't want to be involved in it. So right now, stay in the back like these boys are might be a very, very smart move to make. But right now, Smecker looking incredible on the inside of this ride right here. That drip drops machine is looking so good in that pink. Take a better look at it right here. Oh my word, look at that thing. Good stuff so far. A lot going on though in the front. Blaze Crawford. Oh, big wreck right here. Mark Whitley gets involved. Also Daryl Young. Oh no. That's going to be our first caution. And Daryl Young, the driver who's gone back to back in this race in the last 2 seasons, unfortunately, you're going to be, well, not maybe out of the race, but that right front wheel is not looking too good. I'm not sure what happened, but I did definitely see Mark Whitley, his teammate, get into him. I don't get it sometimes. Lap number 6, and we're racing that hard out of 103 laps. But hey, you know what? That can sometimes happen. That race car, though, is not going to be happy. Let's go back on board, or not on board, but let's just go back and see what happens here, because this is pretty wild. It looks like it starts. Yeah, it's already happening, really. But Whitley, I believe it happens with. Yeah, Mark's car is pretty well banged up there. Maybe the 55 of Meeks as well. Can't quite tell. We'll go back quite a bit farther. Yeah, so Phipps right here. Trying to get a good angle here. Yeah, it happens even farther back. Sometimes the yellows, I mean, they start way, way earlier. So we're going to definitely find out where this happens. I believe Phipps maybe. Oh, Zelazny, look at him. He just comes down into the 77. I'm not sure what Zelazny's doing there. He's trying to maybe, I don't know. So sometimes you got to just shake your head and ask yourself, what are we doing? You know, but that's a hard situation for a lot of those guys. Whitley as well involved. I want to go back just once more, see if we can track down where that was. We saw that it involved Zelazny, obviously. So yeah, Mark goes down right there, but then Zelazny, like, he comes down into him. So I'm not sure if he, Zelazny, the 23 car, thought he was clear, but he definitely wasn't. So, but Whitley, yeah, just unfortunately, Daryl, just collateral damage there, and you really, really hate to see that, but that can happen in these races. He's been lucky enough, to win the last 2, right? Back-to-back seasons. At some point, you had to figure, you know what? When's that luck going to run out? And unfortunately, today is that day. Might be able to get that car repaired, obviously, but still a long way to go. Lap number 7, the Blackened American Whiskey 272. Looking pretty good so far. Unfortunately, first caution, lap 7. Has a bunch of these guys pretty well beat up. And that's the thing too, right? Like, a lot of these guys look forward to races like this because they are somewhat, a wild card in the sense of, anybody can win in the draft and things like that. And there's some people who are really good at this kind of a track, right? Super speedway racing and whatnot. A lot of the Harpoon design guys are, kind of fall into that category. So to see Daryl get killed like that is definitely upsetting for him. I'm sure he's got to be beside himself, but that unfortunately is part of racing like this, right? So Mark Whitley also on pit road. I don't think he has that much damage. It looks like right front definitely smacked up, but not race ending, it looks like. Daryl Young might actually be able to fix that right front. Just depends on how much he has left to go, but the race is long, right? The race is really, really long. He can definitely get himself back up to the front. And the nice thing about a long track is that you can really, take your time under yellow flag to fix that car. So overall, not too bad. We'll step aside for just a second, folks. Thank a sponsor or two. We'll come right back. All right, Chu's situation is dealt with right now, and Blaze Crawford, Brentley Roden, you're going to be on the front row here. Still a long way to go in this race, folks. 8 laps into it. Cautions are going to happen, but man, hate to see it that so soon. But it's funny because I look back at, you know, Daytona this season and also the Super Speedways last season, and we got the same thing. We had early cautions in those races, and then they kind of relaxed. You know, stages obviously, you know, being only 20 laps out of 103 definitely creates the urgency, but you know, it's the responsibilities on the drivers, right? We're going 3 wide 5 laps into the race. It's just unnecessary, right? But it happens. It definitely happens. Here we go, though. Lap 8, going to go on lap 9. Crawford and Roden up front. Again, Roden subbing in for Christian Angel in that 75. So let's see what he has here as we get going. Green flag back out. So far, so good right now. Brandon Bowie pushing the inside line of Blaze Crawford. Outside line really not getting going there. Not sure if there was some kind of an issue, but man, they are just falling back hard right here. Big check of Brentley Roden really falling back here. Middle lane is just not doing all so hot. Starting to work it out, though. Looks like that's Nick Lights going to get in front, so that single file, or that secondary lane going to be working in. Anderson still trying to force it up on the outside line here. Getting pushed by Hagen, the pole sitter. So far, not too bad. A lot to still straighten out as we get this thing going. But Blaze Crawford up front, Bowie, Thomas George, Michael Johnson, Andrew Phipps. A lot of guys in that front pack are all Bowie eSport drivers. Andrew Phipps got pushed out right there, actually. He's going to be having to get back into it, which he does. Good job there. Salyer's into the wall somehow. Way in the back. Marshall Harris blinking there quite a bit. That might be disturbing a lot of these guys. Got to be careful about that, because that will definitely, especially on tracks like this, when you blink, man, it just is really confusing to the guys around you. Up front, though, Grant Salzano being pushed by Brandon Six. Good stuff right here. Dunkelberger, Crawford, all in the mix here. A lot of these guys pushing and pushing. You can really see they are not wasting time. They know that stage points matter a lot. And this was kind of made by design, too. I mean, you want some good intensity at the beginning of the race. You don't want to see cautions and big ones, but 3 wide, just like this. Salzano, Nick Lights, and Blaze Crawford leading their respective lines. Everyone doing what they can right now. And the thing is, too, a lot of these guys, or some of them really, they don't need the points. You know, I mean, if you've won a race, you don't necessarily need the stage points. I'm looking at, you know, Brandon Bowie down here, or Blaze Crawford, right? They might help you, you know, in the overall points, but man, that Midseason Madness tournament too, that is why we have Talladega in here, because that does matter. In-season tournament starts with 20 drivers, now down to 10 here in today's race. And then next week we'll have 5 competing at Indianapolis. So pretty cool stuff. Nick Lights, though, up front. Look at that right there. That Monita number 2 getting pushed by Kenny Reel. Looking really, really good in that Murphy Esports breast cancer awareness pink car. Pretty good stuff so far. Lap 13 right now. We're working on stage 1. 7 laps to go before we complete the first stage. Bottom line, man, look at this tandem. Brandon 6 trying to push them in front of the high line and get it done, man. These two, they know what they're doing, and that was really impressive. Work tandem to get yourself in front of that line, and they made it happen. That was really, really smart. Everyone pretty much all over the place right here. A lot of these guys really not, you know, it's kind of fragmented draft, right? We're seeing guys who are in this pack, kind of a secondary pack, but starting to get going now. Mark Whitley leading his second pack right here behind Salyers, Mealy, Drew, excuse me, and then Stubblefield. So a bunch of guys in the back. And again, this is by design, I feel like, right? They're back here to not get involved potentially in wrecks. But this front pack, they are not wasting any time. John Hagan, look at that. We just saw him in the back of the field, and now he's leading the race. That is how quick things can change around here at Talladega. Hagan already a winner this season at Motegi. So he is locked into the playoffs. Blaze Crawford the same. Bunch of really fast guys right here. Tyler Dohar in that 78. He's got his team owner in the 75 right in front of him. Must be a good feeling to see your boss right there, able to help you out. Unfortunately, their teammate Daryl Young got involved heavily in that first wreck on lap 7, so still working on that car, it would seem. But 3 wide still, they are making it work pretty well so far, I would say. Hagan really falls back there. Man, got freight trains all the way through. Brian Dixon going to go 4 wide here almost. A bunch of Bowie Esport drivers right in the back there. Brentley Roden up to the front right here. Man, look at this. Really, really good stuff. Dohar, I'll tell you what, this might be a Dohar kind of a race. Everyone's so tight right here. Again, getting to the end of stage 1. Crawford and Bowie up front. And we're not seeing a lot of teammate work right now, I'm noticing. A lot of these guys are kind of just focused on whoever they have in front of them. You know, I mean, Dohar, man, sticks out and loses his teammate Roden right there. That's a bad move there for Dohar. But Blaze Crawford, Max Brady way up the pace right here too. Here he is by himself. Kenny Brady in 33rd spot in that number 9, but he is also in the mix right there. He should be that first driver to get that lucky dog. Lap 17, Blaze Crawford, Brandon Bowie. Kenny Reel down low too. Yellow flag is out. Yellow flag is out. Who is this? Thomas George, I'm being told. Oh no. Really hard hit on the inside wall, but it looks like he didn't have control of his car. I don't know if that was... We'll go back. Since that was within 5 laps, that will be... Oh man, that was actually a big, big wreck. We'll go back once more. Sometimes we miss the big ones, man, and I don't know how we do, but let's take a look here. So Brandon 6 hits the back end of Dohar. Yeah, just a bad hit, quite frankly. Gonna get Pont involved. Lights might have... Oh my word, Dohar just goes up and around. But yeah, George gets the worst of it. Dohar as well. Holy crap. Yeah, really, really bad for these guys right here, Dohar up and around. Yeah, just a bad push by 6. I mean, that's all that is right there. So unfortunately, Dohar going to be, well, maybe out of the race, maybe not, but definitely hurt pretty bad. Thomas George, Matthew Pont, the same thing. So really, really bad incident here. I want to go back once more just to see if we can get one more glimpse of it. So here we go. We're going to see it right here. Yeah, 6 just boom. Just clobbers him. Uppercut. I mean, Nick Lights gets some damage there, but might have escaped. And then Dohar just... that might be it for his race today. Over the windshield of the one. Oh, my word. Look at this. Goes over the one car. Crazy. Sucks for them, obviously, but that definitely is a pretty radical ride right there. So, man, tough break so far for really everyone in that wreck. That was the stage end, though. So Blaze Crawford is going to be the stage winner. We'll talk to him in just a second. Right now, though, pit road is busy. And we expected this, right? I mean, a lot of guys, you know, and that's the thing about, you know, super speedway racing is that you just never know, you know, what can happen at these tracks. And everyone kind of goes into it thinking, you know what, I'm probably going to get wrecked. So let's just try and, you know, see what happens, right? But either way, Blaze Crawford is your stage winner. Let's get him in real quick if we can. Talk about his race so far. And just the wild and crazy, just everything so far. Let's bring him in. Blaze Crawford, it's Stephen the Booth, man. You got me?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Hey, man, stage 1 winner right there. Obviously, it was called early from that wreck, but looking pretty good. Looks like you were kind of just, you know, dancing with all the guys up front there and could have gone any which way, but looking pretty good for stage 1. Just talk to us real quick if you can about kind of the like the temperature in the field right now. It seems like guys are going to be pretty aggressive early. Obviously stages are short, so I get that people need stage points, but how's it feel out there?
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's a little bit different from what I'm normally used to with this Cup car and the package. So it's been a little bit different than what I've expected. The runs aren't as drastic, but I'm still able to manage the runs and kind of try to lead a lot of laps here, and luckily got a stage point there. Always awesome to get that and a bunch of regular points too. So I'm just trying to extend that lead and take that regular season championship home.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, good stuff so far. Good luck navigating all this craziness, man. Good stuff.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there he is. Blaze Crawford, stage 1 winner.
Oh.
I moved myself down there. My bad. Here you go, Blaze. I moved myself into their channel and not me. Oops. Or not Blaze. It's all good. But so far, so good. Blaze is the stage 1 winner. And right now, we're going to see some strategy. Looks like Dylan Bates up front. Brandon Bowie, John Hagan. Bunch of guys. So stage 1 is over. We're going to go stage 2 on lap 40. So 40 will be the end of stage 2. And going to get some intensity going on. So again, hate to see the wrecks we've seen. Only two cautions, right? But at the end of the day, you want to see some good racing. But man, I will say though, some of the best races I've seen, even in real life, you know, have been caution fests, right? You don't want to see them, but at a track like this, you kind of expect it. So what will happen for sure. And right now, this Blackened American Whiskey 272 well underway. Stage 2 is going to start right now. We're going to go green here on lap 21. So normally we would have ended the stage about a lap ago, but we're going to get a little bit longer of a stage here. So that should be pretty cool. Still will be shorter than the first stage by design, but we'll get this thing going. Stage 2, the intensity going to be still picked up. Stage points, obviously still here, but man. Here we go, though. Lap 20. Field has got to get tightened up, though. Oh, my word. Rack it up, boys. Bowie, Bates, up front. Stage 2. The guy can restart zone. We're back green right now. Intensity gonna get picked up still. Stage 2 will end in 19 laps. Who can get those stage points? Dylan Bates down low. Gonna get moved right here. Blaze decides to go around him on the outside in the middle. Who's gonna go with him, though? Will anybody go with him? It looks like they will not. Interesting call. I like the move by Blaze to go on the outside. He was just so much faster, but a lot of these guys, man, trying to get to the front. I'm not seeing anybody relax. I'm not gonna lie to you. They all seem like they want to get to the front, get some stage points, and off they go. Brandon Bowie leads right now as we see it. Good looking breast cancer awareness Gremlins card machine. John Hagen, P2. Brentley Roden in third spot. Kenny Reel, and then Jeremy Millerin, top 5 right now. So far, so good. Huge shout out to the folks who are watching us right now on race day. Big thanks to you guys for supporting the channel and for the league, obviously. I know right now we're competing with the Coke Series iRacing Championship in Homestead, so shout out to those boys, and hopefully they have a good night tonight. And man, some good stuff there. Definitely have to catch up and see how that winds up at the end of this race, but congrats to those four to making it. Right now, though, low line starting to move. Dylan Bates down low. I've got a feeling, too, Dylan Bates is one of those guys, and, you know, this is a super speedway, so it might happen, it might not, but I can see Dylan Bates winning a race at some point. I really can. He's got the speed. He's got the pace to do it. It's just a matter of when, right? Today doesn't have a lot of help. Teammates not here. Gonna be tough, but can definitely still make it work solo. We will see. Middle of the pack right now. Kenny Brady in the number 9 machine. Again, subbing in for David Medina. There he is. Max Brady's brother. You'll know Max from this series, obviously, but winning earlier in the season. Dylan Bates way down low. That move is not going to make it work. You can't go down below the yellow line. Bates, that might be a penalty for Bates. He didn't actually pass Kenny Reel. Maybe he did. We'll let race control take a look at that. That might have been a pass underneath that yellow line that cannot do that. So we will see. Let them figure that out. But right now, John Hagen up front. Bowie going to get kind of... Oh, little wiggle right there in the front end. Crawford and Kenny got hooked in right there. Unfortunate. Brentley Roden going to be put back a bit. Luckily, there's a gap right there in the bottom lane. Kenny Reel going to get sent back as well, maybe. Look at the front of this field. Just so fragmented. And that just tells me that the aggression levels are just sky high, because when you see it like this, that just tells me that there's so many guys who are just trying to do just crazy runs and crazy moves. As Brandon 6 now tries to push Dylan Bates here. This is definitely not your typical Talladega race. These guys are not wasting any time, and you can just feel the intensity in the air. They want those stage points. They want to get to the front. 4 wide here, the 10 on the outside. Millerin almost makes a move, but man, everyone's acting like it's the last lap. Crazy, crazy stuff here. Top of the board, Blaze Crawford, Kenny Brady, Dylan Bates, Brandon Six, Julio Villalobos, all on the top. And then Brentley Roden there too in P6. But behind them, man, 2 and 3 wide all throughout the field. Couple of guys starting to kind of make it simple now. Whoa! Dylan Bates does it again. I'm not sure what Bates is doing here. He's making these moves that... Yeah, Bates is really being aggressive here. I'm not sure if he's going below the yellow because he's trying to, or because he's getting kind of shoved down there. But either way, man, intensity really picking up. Outside line starting to move now. Seeing Smucker up front. Daryl Young on track right there. You just saw him in your picture. Look at this. Devin Smucker in the front of the field right here in that 26 strip drops machine. Made a good move to make it happen. There it is. Really, really good stuff being pushed now by Blaze Crawford. And as aggressive as this field has been, I mean, we've seen a couple of notable guys, Blaze Crawford especially, staying up front. Like, he's just making it work. And that aggression factor definitely plays a role into it. Brentley Roden going to be pushed up here by Brandon Six. Got sent into that high line. Mark Whitley back into it too. Look at this. Into P8. So that number 77 is not in bad shape like we thought it was. Good stuff there for that 77 to get back into this race in lap number 29. So 11 laps to go here for stage 2. Oh, Roden big into the wall right there. Oh no. Big mess right there. Looks like he might have gotten a shot as well. Roden, man. Went from the high line to the low line. I believe might have gotten involved into Smucker. Yeah, he definitely did. Oh, man. What happened here? Again, the aggression level's just through the roof right now. Oh, it's already going on down there, so we'll take a look back even further. Try and get a good look at what went down, man. Oh, Brandon Six is right there again, too. So, I mean, was this just another bad hit by the 66? That's what I'm curious about. Okay, here we go. So, front of the field here, Six pushing Roden. Yeah, I mean, that might have been more accidental than anything, but it looks like Six was obviously tandem with him. I don't think he ever got off of his back bumper. And, man, unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be it for those two. Smucker involved, Roden. Hate to see it, but, man, that is tough right there. Halfway through stage 2, though, so right now our third caution of the race. A couple of guys obviously involved in that, Roden and Smucker. From my view right there, it was tough to see. I mean, it's from the angle that we had, it's tough to see if, you know, 6 never got off of his back bumper. Because again, you don't want to really be on someone's back bumper in the corners because you'll just go right around. But tough to see. Not sure how to rule that one, but definitely a tough one to swallow for a lot of these guys. But Brandon 6 is definitely in. He's been in the middle of two of the 3 cautions so far. So I'm not sure if he's being aggressive by design or whatnot, but we will find out. So Bowie up front, Crawford in P2, Dixon 3rd, Kenny Brady in 4th, who has some damage, I believe, to the front end. So I'm not sure where he got that. He wasn't involved, per se, in the first caution, unless there was a secondary incident behind it. But Dylan Bates in P5, Whitley, Anderson, Miller, and Phipps, and Kaufman all round out the top 10. So far, so good. We're going to have about 8 laps, maybe 7 laps to go here in stage 2 once we get back going. So we'll step aside for a second, folks, talk to some sponsors. I'll come right back.
This is a whiskey for those who follow their own path. Bold, flavorful, award-winning whiskey. Born from the finest American straight bourbons and ryes, and reborn in brandy casks, pummeled with sound. Until the only thing left is a reverberating, full-bodied flavor that won't stop when the crowd has gone home. Blackened. This is American whiskey. Remastered.
All right, welcome back, folks, to the Blackened American Whiskey 272 here in Talladega. Right now, we're working our 3rd caution in the middle of stage 2 right now. We're going to go back green with about 7 laps to go here in stage 2. So, man, so far we've seen some insane intensity, I will say. No one's out of the race, I believe, from what we've seen. But still getting... We're waiting on word from a few drivers, so we'll see how that goes in just a bit. But, man, yeah, tough stuff all around right here. Definitely a pretty intense race as we've seen it, but that can happen, right? Big racing, big time moves, things like that, right? So everyone's trying to get those points and trying to get what they can. It is definitely tough to do. But gonna go back green flag now, right on lap 33. Pace car pulls in. We're gonna see Kenny Brady and Brandon Bowie up front here. And again, 7 laps to go before we get to the end of stage 2. Here we go. Starter cam has that green flag, and here we go. Restart zone. Kenny Brady passing or changing lanes before that start finish line. That'll be a penalty right there. Has got to go down. Mark Whitley, man, look at that move he makes. Whitley. Boo gonna get changed around now. Oh man, close stuff. So Kenny Brady up front, Crawford in P2. Outside lane starting to move right here. Bowie up front, still waiting on word to see if that 9 will be penalized. I know Race Control does a fantastic job, man. Matthew Kent just kills it every single race for us. We'll see if he caught that one, but man, that was pretty obvious. Low line working pretty well, though. The outside lane, hey, watch out for a couple of these guys. Brandon Bowie and then Brian Dixon. Really, really impressive guy in that 48. Again, subbing in for Frankie Barroso. And Dylan Bates here on the outside trying to do the same thing. Mark Whitley on the inside, though. He's trying to almost like side draft from the inside lane. It doesn't always work that way. It's not clear. Outside line, though, working very, very good. Seeing Anderson back up there, too, in that 83. A couple of guys now moving south, middle lane. Andrew Phipps. Oh, Phipps went down low, but I thought Bowie was going to go with him. That's unfortunate. Okay, here's Kenny Brady coming down right here for his penalty. Again, you cannot change lanes on the restarts. And that goes for subs too. Sometimes subs, to their disadvantage, they don't always necessarily read the rule book or before they sub, but hey, that's on them. You know what I mean? But that can happen. Heat of the moment. Races like this. Max Brady going to make a move. Blaze Crawford. I was wondering at some point when we were going to see this duo. Brady, Max Brady, and Blaze Crawford. These guys are really, really good. In the last season's Dega race and Daytona, they were very good together as far as tandem. Lap 36, though, a lot to still decide. Inside lane, Brandon Bowie goes from the middle down to the bottom. Just like that, Villalobos going to get sent through the middle. Oh, no. And you can see it. Look at Michael Johnson was right there. That's Bowie's teammate in the middle. Bowie wasted no time, did not pick his teammate up to try and push it to the front for this stage 2 end. .38 laps into this race. We've seen some intensity so far. Brady and Crawford up high, going to try the side draft. This is a move that typically works well for the outside lane. They can side draft down low, and it really does work. We're seeing it right now. Inside will really need some intense pushing to make this work. But we're a lap and a half away from the end of stage 2. A caution flag will end the stage and will freeze the field, just like it did in stage 1. Nick Lights up front in that middle pack, though. Brady leading that high line, though. Someone's going to make a move at some point, as right now, this is the white flag for the stage. Stage 2 is 1 lap away from being decided. And Brady up front. You saw Blaze Crawford get stage 1. And can his teammate, Max Brady, get it for stage 2? We're seeing Nick Lights make the inside lane or the middle lane really work decently, but not enough momentum to really carry it. Does Jackson Anderson in the 83 make a move here too? With Trevor Zelazny, they might be content here. Does not seem to be the case. Hagen going to go down low to try and steal one away, but it's not going to be enough here. 4 wide for a second. Oh, man. crazy stuff. Anderson going to go way down low here. He might have it at the line. Not enough. Max Brady going to be your stage 2 winner. They all fan out. Everyone takes the stage end right there. Man, intense racing as we have seen at lap 40 right now. So stage 1 ended under yellow a couple laps before the scheduled distance, but stage 2 ends the right way, so to speak. And Max Brady is going to be your stage 2 winner. Good stuff for Max Brady. So far, it's been a flagship 1 and 2. Blaze stage 1 and Max Brady stage 2. So, or stage 1 and stage 2. So, good stuff for these guys. We'll come back in just a second, folks. We'll thank some sponsors, let them do their pit stops, then we'll come back.
This is a whiskey for those who follow their own path. Bold, flavorful, award-winning whiskey. Born from the finest American straight bourbons and ryes, and reborn in brandy casks, pummeled with sound. Until the only thing left is a reverberating, full-bodied flavor that won't stop when the crowd has gone home. Blackened. This is American whiskey. Remastered.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
All right, pit stops right now underway. Everyone coming down pit road, getting their fuel and maybe even tires right now. A lot of guys obviously dinged up from prior incidents. A couple of notables real quick. Brantley Roden involved in that, or in one of those wrecks in 21st right now. Looks like he's going to be fixing some damage. Looks like it's popping out, so might have a chance there still. Brandon 6 still on pit road. Maybe some more damage to be repaired. A lot of these guys, Smecker we know has damage as well. So a couple of guys fixing their cars. Stubblefield right here in P28 looking pretty good. Grant Salzano. Quiet night for a bunch of these guys, but might not be too bad, obviously, as we're seeing it. But taking a look here. Looks like that car is looking pretty good. I want to get a closer look if I can. I mean, that car looks really good considering the damage we saw. So he might be okay. The right front tire's straightened up now. Again, that blackened American whiskey machine with Rabbit Hole. I love seeing them today on the racetrack and on that paint scheme. So it looks like he might be okay to continue. But again, a long race to go. At this point, you know, the stages are over. I don't know that I expect to see the same intensity as I did before. We're seeing this, you know, Dohar, George, Pont, Meeks, and Gasorn all out of the race right now. Fleming out of the race. Bunch of guys really pretty well beat up. bunch of guys obviously in trouble there. Yeah, getting word actually Daryl Young 21 laps down, so not good. But hey, the drive for 3 in a row fortunately could not happen today, but not too bad. Still has Atlanta coming up. Daryl's pretty good there, so a lot can happen. Auto Club in a couple weeks. Always a fun one for a lot of these guys and good stuff. So yeah, right now in the middle of our mid-season madness tournament, a couple of guys here are involved in that. Basically it's 3 weeks straight. Dover last week, Talladega today, and then Indianapolis Oval next week is the conclusion. So basically it's 20 cars. Start off, you know, before Dover, the top 20 get inverted basically in points. So P20 starts off with 20 points, P1 starts off with 1 point, and then, you know, the points just accumulate like they normally would. 20 drivers goes down to 10 today, and then 10 today go to 5 for next week. So next week, the Madness 5 will be, you know, those 5 drivers we'll find out at the end of the race. And the next week at Indianapolis basically acts as if it's like a championship style race, right? So it's whoever finishes first or higher than the other 4 is the midseason madness tournament winner. So pretty cool. I know NASCAR just unleashed or unveiled a new one, or a new similar in-season bracket as well for next season. Should be pretty cool. But right now, though, a lot of guys coming down pit road. A lot of change right here as well. So stage 3 going to be underway now on lap 43. So 60 more laps to go to decide this race. A bunch of guys came down to refuel and repit, so that's why the outside lane is so one-sided here. Here we go. Michael Johnson, Dylan Bates up front. Outside line really has the momentum here, but a bunch of guys to get to it. Couldn't get a chance to talk to Max Brady right there. We'll talk to him if we were to get a caution flag. But this is the time too, right? This is the, oh man, into the wall by these guys. Again, what are we doing? The intensity is just crazy. You have 60 more laps to go. Calm it down a bit. Now, the one thing I will say is that with this restart, you just never know what can happen in the sense of, you know, green flag racing. If we get 60 laps of green flag racing, green flag pit stops will need to happen, and that'll be, you know, really spread the field out. So a lot can happen here. Front of the field, though, starting to get all over the place. Brantley Roden back in this race. Look at this. That car looks brand new, considering how hard he hit the wall. I want to find out also too. Devin Smecker, here we go. This P20 involved as well. That car looks pretty good too. Yeah, it looks pretty good. So these two really were able to get it going. Hey, look at this shot right here. Brian, I know you're watching. Here's one for the social media account. Your 3 drivers, nose to tail right here. Good stuff. Looking pretty good. They've got what it takes to do well, and they're all together. That's huge. Stay together. This race can come to you. Dylan Bates up front, the 54, Drew Jua in P2. I was wondering when we were going to see a Drew Jua sighting. He won Season 3's Daytona race. Very good. Haven't seen him for quite a bit in the series, but subbing in today for that 54. So good stuff today all throughout. Lap 46. Just about halfway, but not quite there. This is a good time, too. I feel like if you're in this front pack, you know, this is where we're going to start to talk about fuel consumption and fuel saving. So today they have 75% fuel. So they're going to have to save the fuel and conserve it. You probably don't want to, you know, be the leader right now because that uses a lot more fuel, but you got to somehow, you know, stay towards the front, but not kill your fuel. We'll see that develop today as the second half of this race continues for sure. Fuel mileage will be a concern. They'll definitely have to pit stop once under green for the fuel at a minimum. But right now we're going to see single file racing. It's funny because, again, the first 2 stages, high intensity, right? But right now, everyone doing their thing. Going to ride on board real quick. Joseph Mealy, 1/3 of Murphy Esports. And take a look at this. Right now, in front, has his teammate Smecker, looking pretty good. Trevor Zelazny in the back as well. And this is what we can kind of expect. You can kind of hear it too a little bit. He's not fully on the throttle, right? So right here in the draft, you really want to be, you know, maybe half throttle, 75% throttle. That way you save the fuel. Sounds like right now they're doing pretty good. Only 82,000 or 8,200 RPMs. So they are definitely conserving some fuel here, obviously, as we go. I believe their teammate way off the track a second ago. I just saw him behind. Is that Nick Lights? Yeah, he was down below the apron a second ago. Seems like he might be okay now, but Stubblefield way up high, trying to make something work here. But you can start to see it. Oh, the 29 starting to come up here. Gregory Robinson having a good run. A couple of these guys too, they wanted to just get to the front, and that is an option, right? Some people, and maybe like these guys, they're just saying, you know what? Screw fuel strategy. There could be a caution that comes out that, you know, throws all that away. So let's get to the front. Let's avoid a caution that could happen behind us and see what happens. And I think this is a good move, you know? The way the playoffs are shaping up and the points are shaping up, you need to get yourself a win. If you're Greg Robinson, Stubblefield, you know, and then Roden right here, I mean, he's by himself, right? He's not really involved in the playoff hunt. He's a sub right now for Christian Angel. So, again, trophy hunting. So just get yourself to the front, see what happens. You don't need to get these points. You don't need to get anything except that trophy. And a lot of these guys doing that right now. So pretty good stuff so far. Lap 50, about a lap away or so from halfway point. So far impressive. Single file all throughout. And this is what we were talking about at the beginning of the race. And, you know, people will always come to me, right? And they'll be like, oh man, you know, stage racing, it just, is it necessary? Is it, you know, if we didn't have stage racing, maybe we'd have races like, you know, racing like this right here, single file. Yeah, sure. You know, less stages means, or no stages, means less cautions. And I get that, but it's tough, right? Because racing like this, we always want to see green flag racing. That's what we want to see, no matter what track it is. But 3-wide racing, 2-wide racing is always exciting to watch. You know, and right now we're going to see some, you know, some 2-2 training going on right now. Greg Robinson leading the field, which is great for him. But it comes down to that strategy too, right? Of fuel mileage and, you know, not tires here, but, you know, kind of outplaying your competition. And I think that's why this league is so successful, is because we model, you know, after the NASCAR. So we follow what NASCAR does. Same things, stages, similar rules. So yes, while the first 2 stages were pretty well intense, I will say, right now we're going to see a different kind of game being played, I feel like, in fuel saving, but also kind of track management, you know. In this league, these guys have to be, you know, good tire savers, good fuel, you know, savers, crew, you know, personal crew chiefs, all kinds of stuff right there. So a lot can change. Bunch of guys single file though, as we see it. So top 10 right now, as we're seeing it: Robinson, Brantley Roden, Stubblefield, Dylan Bates, Drew Jua, Austin Salyers, Millerin, Anderson, Smecker, and Mealy. So great recovery so far by two guys who were involved in prior incidents in I believe it was stage 2. Roden right here in that P2, and then Smecker as well. So really impressive runs by these guys. That car looks really pretty clean at this point, so good stuff. Mealy right behind him in that W3i software machine, looking really good. Another breast cancer awareness paint scheme, looking good. Trevor Zelazny in that Flem Dogs machine. I'm being told he has a pink breast cancer awareness paint scheme, so under our next commercial, we'll try and refresh these paints and see if we can get that going for him, but looking good. Kenny Brady filling in for that 9, David Medina. A lot of guys here can try and get these wins. I mean, obviously Brady and Crawford, we know how fast they've been, and I would even say that Crawford's probably the favorite at this point for the championship. He's done really well this season, 2 wins already. Everyone else has 1 if they do have a race win. So looking pretty good in the points as well, points leader. So overall, Blaze is having the best season for sure. But again, you know, Mark Whitley, you know, right here in 15th as we see it. You know, Whitley not won yet, but has knocked on the door a little bit, a couple times. Brandon 6th, same thing, right? So a couple of really heavy hitters have not gotten a win yet, and that's pretty wild on this season. Hagen has that win. Man, Brian Dixon again subbing in. Dunkelberger came very, very close a couple weeks back to getting a win. Just didn't have enough there at the end. But Tim Robb having a secret good season right now, and I kind of put Tim Robb in that same category as Dylan Bates. Where Dylan Bates, John Hagen, they're fast guys, right? They're definitely fast. They have the ability to win a race. I just feel like they have to have the perfect storm, so to speak, to get the win. Hagen had the win earlier in the season. I feel like the same thing could happen for Robb and for Bates if certain things happened a certain way, but definitely fast guys. Jacob Weist, his teammate too, and again, Kenny Reel, bunch of guys making things happen. Stubblefield way up high right here. What happened there? Man, way out of the groove. He was in about the top 5 there, so could be a bad block or a bad push. Those things can happen. But Robinson, hey, all the power to him. I would love to see, a new winner today, a fresh winner, somebody who's never won before. And those would always feel good, right? Because you get somebody who wins for the first time, and Greg Robinson doing really well right now, leading that race. He's not saving fuel, I can promise you. But he's up there doing his thing. Really good moves, though, for him. Dylan Bates, again, I feel like a win's coming for Dylan Bates. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I think it's coming at some point. Drew Jua, we know him. He's very good at these kind of racing as well. Shout out to that race day paint. Man, that thing looks so good. Looking good right there for that 54, man. Whew. Austin Salyers came so close to winning Kansas, I believe it was. Homestead, excuse me. Earlier in the season, man, had it all going down for him. Just couldn't quite finish it off. And Smecker ended up winning that. Came so close, though. So Austin Salyers, again, lately, this performance so far this season for Salyers, he's another one. I feel like we've got guys who are clear favorites to win, anywhere. You think about Smecker, Lights, Whitley, Six, Bowie, Frankie Barroso, just guys like that, right? Crawford. But then there's that secondary tier, not to rank guys, I guess, but there's that secondary tier of guys that can definitely win, have the pace to win, have the ability to win. They just need something to happen. You know, maybe it's a couple of fast guys wrecking out, or maybe it's, you know, hitting a certain strategy, you know, fuel wise or tire wise, whatever it is. You know, and I kind of put, you know, Dylan Bates, Austin Salyers, John Hagan, you know, Joseph Mealy, you know, guys like that into that, you know, Michael Johnson, guys like that into that mix who definitely have the talent. And there's more drivers that I'm not mentioning, but, you know, definitely have the talent, just not able to pull it off yet, right? And we've seen it. We've seen Bates come close to a win. We've seen Hagan, well, not Hagan, excuse me, Salyers come close to a win, you know, so a lot of these guys still waiting, still knocking on that door. Kenny Reel, though, up front, but not really. He's a lap down, and, or not really lap down, excuse me, tail end of the lead lap, so it looks like he's P1, but he's not. He's tail end of the field, trying to stay above, and that's kind of the unique nature of a race like this, right? You just never know. In this case, he's not the leader, but they can still hang out with the leaders. And that's what Kenny Reel's doing right now. So 60 laps in to this Blackened American Whiskey 272. Starting to knock down the laps here a bit. Almost 40 laps to go here in the race. Everyone's pretty well chilling out. This is kind of how I expected this race to go, to be honest, right? First two stages, 20 laps apiece. Everyone's got the tires and the fuel to make it. So just go, go, go. 3 wide. Go crazy, right? And right now, we're seeing it pretty relaxed in stage 3. Very long. You know, have to manage your tires and your fuel. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing these guys do that. Everyone's single file for the most part. We'll look throughout the field here. A lot of guys kind of strung out, but they're all saving the fuel. They all need to get to that mark when they can. But here's the thing. This is the trick about it. If this thing stays green, they'll have to come down pit road for, you know, green flag pit stops and whatnot. But then if that goes clean, man, it spreads out the field way more. And that's why I like, you know, what Greg Robinson, you know, Roden, Bates, Jua, what they're doing, because they're up front. They're not hanging back a whole lot. As we're seeing the secondary line here starting to work. These guys not wasting any time. Brady. And Crawford. You can see how much faster they are right here. So a lot of guys saving the fuel. They don't have to save it intensely like they are right now. A bunch of these guys, though, making it all work. You can just see how much these guys in the front, they're gone. I mean, we're going to get a secondary pack right now of these guys. But, I mean, again, them right there, the top 3, they must think they can make the fuel at this point, right? So it all comes down to that fuel mileage and making it happen. Riding on board real quick, if Nick Lights, he is right in the middle of some intensity here. Has his teammates right in front, which is nice. Joseph Mealy, Devin Smecker all on the line right here, working the outside lane. Devin goes down low here. He kind of loses his teammates. I'm not sure what that's about. Definitely not working together like I would have expected them to do right there, but hey, Talladega, this is one of those places where, you know, you want to work together as a team if you can, you know, but if you can't, whew, man, it's tough. Very, very tough. So this front of the pack here, they're pretty well. Miller and really is the tail end of this main pack. Secondary pack being led by James Kaufman. These guys look like they're still saving fuel. They're not really, you know, trying to get there. But again, now that they've lost that draft, now they're forced to stay single file to maintain that speed and to get to the front back of the pack. This is where green flag pit stops, and if this race stays green, this is dangerous for this pack right here, because they're not going to have the speed and the ability to catch and maintain that front of the field. These guys really have to catch that top group. A lot of these Blue Sport drivers back here, as well as the Apollos Motorsports. So we will definitely watch this as it continues to develop. Up front, though, Flagship looking pretty strong, as well as these guys in the back. But 66 laps into this race, things have definitely calmed down a bit. But that's why this race is long, right? Because, man, you just don't know. You have to make it work. You have to just... it's the attrition factor, too, sometimes, right? We've seen a lot of these super speedway races in this league, you know, have that high intensity first couple of stages, but then the second half, it just kind of sprawls out. It becomes this green flag, you know, mega run, which is great, but it changes the landscape of the race by so much, and that can definitely happen. So we'll see how this continues, obviously. Still a long way to go. But, man, a lot of these guys putting in the work already. Lap number 67. Getting warm, that green flag pit stops might be coming up soon, depending on fuel mileage. So I think right now we'll take a race day non-stop. We'll thank some sponsors, but you won't miss a single minute of racing. We'll come right back, folks.
Fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like Husky, fancy like doggy bowl empty, Lakers pool sleeping, rug pull, cash grab, NFTs delight, rug pull, cash grab, idiot.
Welcome back in, folks, to the Blackened American Whiskey 272 right now. Working lap 69, almost lap 70 right here. So 33 laps remaining, and green flag pit stops will be coming up pretty soon. A couple of different things going on right now. Obviously, a front pack is underway. This is basically the front's 13 drivers are in this main pack, and then the secondary pack right here being led by James Kaufman. So about half the field really is spread out. A couple of guys are kind of single by themselves. Grant Salzano, Kenny Reel, Marshall Harris. A bunch of these guys are by themselves. We'll definitely need a caution to catch back up. But this front pack is what we're looking at right now. $33 laps to go. Green flag pit stops are coming in pretty soon. Will have to happen. Couple of cautions on the race so far. I believe 3 on the race, so no, not too bad. Haven't seen the big one yet, knock on wood. But hey, green flag racing is what we like to see. We saw the 2 and 3 wide earlier on in the first stages. Right now, though, it's been pretty calm and pretty collected. I'm sure we'll see some heated racing towards the end. But man, right now, really good stuff. Crawford, Kenny Brady, Max Brady, your top 3. We've seen Crawford and Max Brady win a couple times this season already, obviously. Drew Jua subbing in for that 54 flagship machine, so flagship really looking pretty good right now in the front. But don't count out a couple of guys here. Smecker, Nick Lights, Mealy. Apparently Roden comes down pit road early by himself. So interesting call here. We'll see what he has to do for them. But man, good stuff. Dylan Bates still in that mix as well. Mark Whitley after an early wreck. Still back there. This secondary pack, though, I'm worried about them. We're going to need these guys to catch back up. You see the gap right there between Whitley and Kaufman. It's about 6 or 7 seconds. So these guys will have to stay single file and continue on. They're probably going to need a caution, to be honest. As we're seeing green flag stops already. Here we go. James Kaufman, Greg Robinson coming down pit road, but this is only 2 guys out of that big mix. That might be a tough one. When do the leaders come down pit road? Right now, we're 30 laps to go. Once they pit, they'll be good to go for fuel. It's just a matter of when they do it. We have 2 different packs right now. Kaufman, again, Robinson. A couple of guys taking tires, it looks like, too. So that's going to be even a longer pit stop. A lot of guys here. Here we go. Leaders coming down pit road. Crawford, Brady, Kenny. Everyone's slowing down all they can, but this is good. This is a big, big pack of drivers coming down for their fuel. Tires, maybe. I doubt it, though, to be honest. A lot of guys probably took tires at the end of stage 2, but now they're taking their fuel and then off they go. Smecker, here he is. Dylan Bates already off. Full of fuel, and then off you go. Brady. Both Bradys. Anderson comes off. Bunch going on there. Fragmented in the back of the field, though. Austin Salyers is being shown as your leader. Kaufman is trying to gain himself back up. Here we go. A couple more guys. Salyers, Mark Whitley come down pit road. I expect to see Bowie in gang as well. Here they all come. Cannot make a mistake here. Robin pretty hot right here. Woo! Might slide it. Bounces into Bowie. They're all okay. Cannot make that race-ending mistake. Speeding in pit road or in or out of pit road, it is so key to get it through cleanly on lap 74. But everyone is pitting. Mark Whitley out front, gets the lead out. Bunch of guys here taking their fuel-only stops. And then off they go. Miller and, oh, cross that yellow line. Not sure if that'll be a penalty or not. You can't cross that line until the back of turn 2. But Kenny Brady comes out, and there he is. So still maintains the lead after green flag stops. Pretty well clean, I would say, for the field. Tim Robb still on track. Oh, no. He must have had speeding. That's a 40-second pit stop. We said, man, he was coming in hot. So unfortunately, that might be the case here. But Kenny Brady up front. Couple of drivers right there. Stubblefield, Dylan Bates going to try and stay on the front of the field. Right now, their tail ends. So a lot of these drivers will need a yellow to catch back up. This is what I was mentioning before, right? The yellow or the green flag pit stops. When you get these, it spreads the field out way more. So we're going to need, I mean, look at this. The top 5, excuse me, all in a row here. Nick Lights tagged along. these flagship motorsports drivers. Anderson leads this secondary mini pack right here of 4. Zelazny. Hey, we tried refreshing the paints, man, but it didn't work for you under that commercial. But 3 cars right here. And then another little pack being led by Road and Bowie. So we're going to need to see a yellow flag to get this thing back wound up, if we even do. But yeah, 6 up front of this little pack here. So everyone's really fragmented all over the track. But that's what green flag pit stops can do, right? That's what is so key about staying out front. You know, if you're in this, I mean, really top 5, if you're in this top 5 right now, you love to see this. I mean, again, Bates right there. He's not that pink car. He's not the leader. He's on the tail end of the lead lap. He's staying in front of the leaders here. But this is key, right? These guys need to, you know, hope that there's no yellow. Because if there's not, they're probably going to be fighting it out for the win. Seeing Brian Dixon come down pit road. This looks like it might be unscheduled. Not sure why he's down here outside of his teammates, but we will catch up to that for sure. This second pack, Anderson, Whitley, Salyers, and Mealy, they have a chance to catch up here. Riding on board Mealy real fast. You'll kind of see that gap, that visual gap between them. Right now, it's about a second. They can definitely catch this pack. They got to really be on their best behavior here and draft up to them. They've got to catch those guys, though. Besides these 4, Zelazny, you know, again, right there in front of Smecker and Grant Salzano. These 4 drivers will definitely catch the guys in front. So that'll be a bigger pack right there of about 7 or 8, maybe 9 actually, when they get Stubblefield. So this will be a pretty good sized pack if they can hold on to it. 25 laps to go now. If this whole pack stays single file or damn close to it, they could probably do some damage and cut into that gap. But I still feel like they're going to need a solid run. Maybe even a yellow flag to get back into the game here. Up front, nothing's changed. The Brady brothers of Kenny and Max, Blaze Crawford, Drew Jew, and Nick Lights in that top 5. And right now looking pretty good. This is the thing too, like what do you do? Like how do you navigate this as teammates? You know, I'm just looking kind of at it from a perspective of, you know, what happens here, right? So Dylan Bates not in contention for the lead. He's right now, again, on the tail end. But, you know, Kenny Brady, again, only subbing in for David Medina. So just in here for trophies, right? So if he wins, great. But, you know, not necessarily needing to win. You know, Brady already has that win. Crawford has the win. Drew Jua, again, another sub for that 54. But then Nick Lights, right, really could use that win right now to push him into those playoffs. He has come so close these last few Talladega races. He finished, I believe, 2nd or 3rd in both of Darrell Young's wins the last 2 seasons. So a lot can happen. But, man, a yellow flag right here would change a lot. We're starting to see Anderson, Mealy, they are catching up a little bit. The gap was about 2 seconds behind Lights. Now it's 1 second. So they are going to catch them. It's just a matter of when. But then once they do, what happens? Right? Anderson, he's our Daytona winner from earlier in the season. So we know he's good here. Joseph Mealy, man, what a great win this could be for him in that breast cancer awareness pink machine. Mark Whitley, again, still looking for that win Could come here. Austin Salyers. Maybe it's his day. Smecker now leading this big pack right here of, I believe, 9 cars. So they're in P10 right now. They're about 6.5 seconds away from the front pack. They might be able to catch up, but they're going to have to really stay tight here and see what happens. And there they are. Anderson caught that pack. So now the front pack is about 9 strong here. That brings a much different player base. So now what can we do? In this 21 laps to go here, fuel mileage should be okay. Don't expect fuel to be an issue unless there's overtime, you know, green, white checkers or whatnot, but don't expect that to be an issue. But the top 9, all by themselves, Devin Smecker leading that second pack. There they are right there, of 7 drivers. And they are catching. Right now, they're about 5.5 seconds, so they're definitely catching that pack. It's just a matter of, do they have enough time, right? Brandon 6, Phipps, and these guys right here all leading this this third pack. But again, just might not be enough time. Oh, Phipps. Not sure if 6 got out of the way there for a reason, but through there they go. A couple more guys here as well. So just little mini packs kind of throughout the field. Well, here's the thing. This isn't a fuel mileage race. This is they pit once and then that was it. So they're good to go on fuel right now. The issue is that green flag racing, unfortunately, just becomes, you know, it just becomes kind of like they're just relaxing, you know. And maybe it's for fuel, but I mean, unfortunately, you know, we saw the great racing in stage 1 and 2, and right now we're seeing, you know, the single file. This pack will definitely go too wide at some point, just a matter of when. So it's tough, you know. It's, and sometimes too, you know, the way the races shape up. You know, I know, for example, last season's Talladega race, the race, I think a caution came out in stage 3 in a weird way, and it forced a fuel race, right? Like towards the end. So, you know, things like that kind of sucks, right? But these races, especially these particular races, are not designed to be a fuel race. They're designed to be an all-out brawl. But, you know, it all depends. You know, maybe in the future, hey, you know, do we make the stages, you know, maybe we take the race and cut it into thirds, right? And that way it's kind of an equal race intensity throughout the, you know, the entire thing. I'm not sure, right? But again, we're basing this off of the real world stage length and whatnot, so a lot of things can change, and always learning. Either way, green flag racing. Oh, there it is, the yellow flag. Who is it? Jeremy Millerin, right on cue. Oh no. Slow it down now. Goes off track here. Not sure if he got hit. Find out here in just a second. So he was, I believe, in the third pack, I want to say, behind a lot of these guys. Try and get a better view here. Yeah, so he's kind of by himself right here with Dunkelberger. We'll see what happens. I've got a funny feeling I'm not going to like what I see. We'll fast forward just a bit. Okay, so Millerin. Okay, they're side by side. I mean... Wait. Hold on. God. Well, I mean, I don't know what else you say, folks. I mean, that was a straight dump by that number 4. Chopper view, I mean, these guys were racing by themselves, essentially. And to be fair, maybe Miller did something to Dunkelberger that he didn't like. You know, I don't know the entire story, but this right here, this is the 4 clearly trying to dump the 10. Boom, boom, and then hooks him. I mean, the 4 kills himself, it looks like, but... So that's what that is. Unfortunate. Dunkelberger decides to just completely change the layout of the race. Ugh. Hate to see that. See, this is a little insight, folks. So this is the tough part about being league owner of ASRA, if you didn't already know, but also in the booth, right? Because you see things like that it just makes you shake your damn head. And I get that, you know, from a driver's perspective, maybe even a viewer standpoint, it's a quote unquote boring race because no one's 3 wide, no one's, you know, whatever. We're all single file, or we're all little tiny packs. I get it. Hey, I'm right there with you. But to change the landscape of the race, and again, I don't know if there was history, but between Millerin and Dunkelberger, I don't know how that works, you know, or looks like. But that right there, to just intentionally wreck somebody, you know, whatever the history might have been, maybe a lap before, maybe whatever it was, you cannot do that. So, yeah, that's simple as that. A bunch of guys were here, did come down pit road. Again, topping off on fuel and tires and all kinds of stuff. Looks like a bunch of guys definitely changed tires, obviously, and getting the fuel. So the field definitely all over the place at this point. P1 going to be Weist, Bowie, Mealy, Six, and Whitley, all in that top 5. Johnson, Anderson, Smecker, Salyers, and Hagen, top 10. So looks like a bunch of guys stayed out. And then looking at, you know, Kenny Brady, Max Brady, Blaze Crawford, those guys all looks like came down pit road. So 14 laps to go here. Going to be 13 actually when we go back green. Josh. We need a sub next week, says Josh Larson. Oh my God. That's actually pretty funny, I will say. Because you know it's coming, right? Hey, it's all good. But we'll take care of disciplinary action later on. Trust me, I am a lot more angry than I'm leading on. But at the end of the day, you know, this is the conundrum, right? As a league owner, I'm furious. As a broadcaster slash viewer, I'm excited because guess what? Now we get 2 and 3 wide racing to end this race, and somebody is going to win it. We're going to get down to it right now. Buckle up. Keep your feet and hands inside the vehicle at all times. Brandon Bowie, Jacob Weist up front. Here we go. Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out for the Blackened American Whiskey 272. Bowie up front. Brandon 6 as well. Michael Johnson right there as well. We saw this play out last season. Bowie was really looking pretty good at the end of Talladega, but just couldn't finish it up. I believe, if I recall right, Bowie either blinked out or disconnected late, and that really threw his teammates to the side, unfortunately. And Bowie's team has not had the season they have wanted so far, but right behind him, absolute chaos. 2 and 3 wide right now going on. Further on back, the same thing. Bunch of guys spread out here. And 13 laps to go. Do we see another caution happening? I'll tell you what, it's probably going to at this rate. It's all out the window. Jackson Anderson gonna go to the high line right here in front of the guys who were just leading the race under that green flag condition there. Jua, oh, yellow flag again once more. Kaufman around. By himself, it looks like. Maybe one other driver involved, but maybe Marshall Harris as well. I can't quite tell, but we're gonna go back and look at it. It's already gone down right here. So Kaufman around. Try and see if we can get back to it. Oh man, yeah, we are already sideways. Miller in right there. Snuck through, I would say. Try and go way back and try and find out where it actually went down. Finding replays at super speedways is definitely the toughest one. So we're gonna try and nail this sucker down. Oh man. Oh, Miller did. Marshall Harris is gone. He super blinked out. Yeah, so you see it right there. Unfortunately, comes down. I mean, Harris is gone, but he hits the 25 through his connection issue. And that'll be that right there. So, man, tough break for Kaufman, for Marshall. I don't see a lot of damage, actually, on that 25 of Kaufman. So he might be okay. Yeah, the left rear, little wrinkled, but might be okay to continue. So that's not the worst news of all time. So, man, crazy. And the crazy thing, actually, looking back at it, the craziest thing about, and this just came to me, about what just happened there in our last caution, not this one, the last one. Dunkelberger is on the Flagship Motorsports team. And his teammates were all in the front leading the race. So, why, as the teammate of your team, as the teammate of the team that you're on, the drivers are in front of the field, why would you do that, right? Like, is it for personal gain? Well, obviously, because you're mired back in 20 whatever. But your teammates are leading, and you go and do that. Just a really bad decision, and just one that I can't really wrap my head around. But either way, this is where we are, and the top 3 looking pretty strong. Top 5, really. I mean, look at Mealy right here in P4. Man, I'll tell you what, a win for Mealy here today would be incredible. Would love to see it personally. Might happen. Definitely might happen. Real quick, we'll go and thank a couple sponsors. We have the time to do it for sure. So, big thanks again to Blackened American Whiskey coming on board today. Harpoon Design, as well as all of our other sponsors, Hosky, Cardano, Admin Box, man, Premier Setup Shop, a lot of good people. So we'll come right back, folks. Stick around.
This is a whiskey for those who follow their own path. Bold, flavorful, award-winning whiskey. Born from the finest American straight bourbons and ryes, and reborn in brandy casks, pummeled with sound. Until the only thing left is a reverberating, full-bodied flavor that won't stop when the crowd has gone home. Blackened. This is American whiskey. Remastered.
All right, folks, back at it right now for the Blackened American Whiskey 272. We saw some pretty intense first two stages, a couple of cautions in those, and then it relaxed quite a bit in the middle of stage 3 at the beginning, and then pretty well throughout it. But then just recently, a couple of cautions coming out, and the intensity has instantly picked up. And quick note, too, just on the Bowie Esport drivers here in the top 3, looking at Bowie, Six, and Johnson. These guys, I mean, and they'll even admit, right, this season has not gone, as they planned. Bowie has the win, obviously, at Kansas, but besides that, they've been kind of no-shows for the most part. Strategies have not worked at all in these past probably 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, they choose one strat, but then the race just changes a different way. Maybe it's a certain yellow that comes out, or a certain strat that they get wrong, things like that. And it's been tough to watch because we know how fast they are. But looking at this race right now, this race has kind of come to them. They're in that top 3, and they're looking very, very fast, obviously, up front. So this might be, a good race for them to kind of turn the tables a bit, kind of reset their season. Obviously, Brandon Six without that win yet. Michael Johnson in 39th, still looking for it. So a lot can happen here. Brandon Bowie could maybe get a second win on the season. A lot. Michael Johnson, his first win ever in ASRA. Who knows? A lot can go down, though. Right now, going to be 8 laps to go here in Talladega. Green flag is right back out. Here we go. Instantly 3 wide, middle lane gonna get sucked back. Oh man, hard hit for Mealy there in the middle. Looks like Blaze and Brady in that sucker hole. Brandon Bowie up front. Kenny Brady up in the high line here too. Oh, Bowie goes down into the apron. He saves it. Schmecker as well in the middle. Look at this. Murphy Esports might be in the middle here, all by themselves in a line. They couldn't pick him up. Oh, Weist off the track. Big checkup right here into Grant. That'll be a yellow flag for sure. Man, Weist hit the outside wall. He did a really good job by, kind of hitting it and then trying to keep it straight, but just couldn't wrap it up right there. John Hagan, your pulsator, I believe, also involved. Kenny got smacked into on the inside. Yeah, Jacob Weist, front end pretty well dinged up. Selzano took a shot. Man, tough break for a lot of these guys. And Andrew Phipps as well. Oh man, that left front's not even moving. Not good. The tough break right there. We saw it all go down live, but man, again, that changes everything. 7 laps to go. We're going to get a restart with about 4 laps to go. Brady, Brandon 6, Jackson Anderson, Brandon Bowie, and Michael Johnson in top 5. So Kenny Brady definitely showing his chops right now. Looking pretty good, though, in the number 9 machine. 6 right here, looking for his first win. Kenny Brady, I mean, again, subbing in for David Medina on flagship. Fast driver. We know that was actually interested in joining the series, but we have a cutoff after Motegi, so he couldn't make it in, obviously. But subbing in for a couple races, it looks like, and pretty quick. So good to see there. 6 in P2. Anderson 3rd spot, looking to go back to back here on super speedways on the season, as he won Daytona. Drew Jua, another driver we know is very good at super speedways. So he is there as well, P4. Bowie in 5th. So a couple of guys, look at this though, Smecker, Lights, and Mealy all going to be lined up here. We'll see at the choose line if they decide to stay in the same lane. That could be pretty key on their success as well, but a couple of guys back at you, Blaze Crawford, Max Brady, all back there. And they were really the, the drivers who were kind of in shape to maybe win this race, right? At the end of that green flag racing, but yellow came out and that kind of got erased. But a couple of more guys back here. Roden, we saw him fighting for it right now in 18th. Villalobos, Trevor Zelazny, Whitley in P14. So, these are one of those races that you just have to get through. And sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. But right now, 6 laps to go. And we're going to get this thing wrapped up here pretty soon. Again, the Blackened American Whiskey 272. Normally, this race would end in 3 laps. But under certain circumstances, the sponsor wanted 272. So that means an additional 3 laps of racing. So interesting stuff here. We're going to get this thing wrapped up. Next week, we look forward to Indianapolis, the Oval, another 2.5 mile track. Going to be a lot of fun. Indianapolis has historically been a lot of fun for us as far as in the league, different winners, and a lot of favorites, early favorites looking into that race. Brandon Bowie, very good there. I believe Kevin King will be making a return as well in that race as a sub, if I recall. So we'll see him there as well. We know how good he is. Obviously won Chicago Street Course earlier in the season. So a lot can happen here. But 24 drivers on the lead lap, I believe it is. Just making sure. Yeah, 24 looks like Stubblefield, the first car a lap down. So if we get one more caution, he'll be lucky dog as he catches the field back up. But Kenny Brady up front, 6 Jua, Anderson, and Salyer. So unfortunately, for really anybody up here, I mean, teammates are not too close together. 6 is up here, Brady. So we're seeing, kind of flagship up here. We're seeing Bowie up here. Salyers is a part of Catch Fence Racing. So definitely different teams kicking around. Bowie's not too far back. Schmecker's right there as well. So, I mean, this is not over yet. This could definitely change on a dime. But will we see a new winner, right? Will we see a new winner? Kenny Brady, first appearance, maybe gets a win. Be kind of cool to see that. Could it be Drew Jua making, getting his first win of the season as a sub again? So let me know in the chat. Is the sub going to win? Or are we going to see somebody else? Kenny Brady's Drew Jua. A lot of guys up here that can win this race. Front row actually is substitutes. So pretty cool. We know how hungry 6 is for a win, and Salyer's right there as well. A lot on the line here. 4 laps to go for the Blackened American Whiskey 272 here in Talladega. A lot's going to go down here. Can we finish under green? Will we get overtime? We're going to find out. Brady and Jua up front. Green flag is back out. Big push by Brandon Six here and Jackson Anderson. Looking really good. Blaze makes a great move there in the middle. Jua going to push in as well too. Those fresh tires might be pretty key to get this thing done. 6 not laying out. Brandon Bowie right there in that pink car. He finds himself down low. Oh no, looks like he got held up by his teammate. Looks like Michael Johnson might have pushed him a little too hard on entry. Inside line though is coming. Front of the field, Kenny Brady still holding on to that front row. Brandon Six is not letting up at all, man. Anderson, oh no, pushes the outside line a little bit too hard. We're going to see 3 wide here now for the lead. And just like that, as if the yellow flags never came out, Brady, Crawford, and Max Brady, 1, 2, and 3 right now. Does anybody have an answer for Flagship Motorsports? Man, they have been so strong today. Inside line, not really. Man, look at this. Whole inside line is just gone right here. This inside line, or the outside, looking pretty good right here. But does Brady, Max, or Crawford, what do they do? Oh, big wreck in the back. Brandon Bowie, I believe that is. Yes, it is. Mark Whitley. Villalobos, Tim Robb, I think. Who's that? Hagen. As well as Austin Salyers. Not exactly the big one, but definitely a bigger one. Man, tough right there. Just about to get 2 laps to go. And a big wreck underway. Oh man, looks like Villalobos maybe got to give a bad push to his team owner, Bowie. Not super sure. You see that 75 of Roden kind of sneaks through as well. Good move right there. But yeah, you're seeing, I'm going to go back a little bit and find out if it was, in fact, Villalobos who... Yeah, I don't know if that angle really tells the story here. Hold on. We're going to find it. Here we go. So 54 kind of goes in front of the Bowie, and then just a big stack up, it looks like. I mean, yeah, right there. Boom. Sends him around. It's just a huge difference in speed right there at that point. There's not much you can do, unfortunately. And yeah, around goes Bowie. Whitley gets involved. I don't see a lot of damage, I guess, on a lot of these guys, but definitely enough to make it tough, right? At the end of these races, 2 laps to go. We're gonna get overtime now, and that changes a whole lot. So we're going to get our first overtime, and if you're new to how that works, basically what we're going to do is we're going to go back green once, we're going to have a restart, and if we get the white flag, then the next flag will end it. They'll get that checkered flag for sure, but if a yellow comes out before the white flag, then we will rack it up again and get one more restart. We'll do that 3 times, excuse me, overall. So 3 times we'll get it, and we'll see how that works, but right here, this is going to be tough, I feel like, to beat these 3 guys. It's going to be really, really tough. At these super speedways, man, I mean, right now, they're going to be able to, I assume, if they choose different lines or maybe the same lane, But they can control both lanes, right? One driver can move up high and choose high, and one or two can stay low, or vice versa. So I think this is going to be really tough for, you know, a Six or an Anderson, maybe a Johnson, to kind of get to the front and try and sneak this one out. It can still happen, but they're going to have to really get a good push at the last second. But either way, Kenny Brady looking very, very good. Got a feeling, though, Blaze Crawford, again, already has 2 wins on the season. Max Brady has 1 as well. So, you know, these guys, they want to keep adding to their playoff total, right? A win gives you 5 playoff points. So if you're Blaze, you know, you're looking to extend that lead as much as you can for your playoff run. Same thing with Brady, right? Trying to go for 2 wins on the season. You know, again, Kenny Brady would be sweet to see a new, you know, a first-time winner, obviously, in the series, but, you know, also doesn't need to win. So, you know, are there team orders involved, right? I mean, like, there's layers to this, you know. Does Blaze or Max say, hey, you know, we need this win more than you do? I don't know, right? It's tough to make that call. You know, team orders typically aren't something you see in NASCAR style racing, but they do kind of come out once in a while on this style track, right? You see Chevy working with Chevy and Ford with Ford, and, you know, down the line. So a lot can happen here, but Flagship definitely looking pretty good as we've seen them. So, and I will say, I feel like they've worked the best as a team. I mean, you know, I look at, you know, Bowie Esports, and they've been kind of fragmented throughout the race today. Haven't really been able to work together as best as they can. It looks like Jackson's going to be working with Six here, as far as he's got a friend, which is going to be good. So, but I mean, really everyone else, you know, Smecker and Murphy Esports, I feel like they've done a really good job as working together, you know, as they can. But we saw circumstances where one would ditch the teammates. So it's tough, right? It's tough to really commit to the team thing. But you know, the Harpoon Design, obviously, you know, early in the race they had a couple of casualties. You know, Whitley getting involved, Daryl getting involved, Daryl Young. So Dohar going up and around, man, that was rough. So that can happen, right? But we're going to find out real quick what kind of race these guys have. 3 laps to go, though. But look at the magic here. Michael Johnson was in P6, but with the choose rule, nobody else in front of him picked down low, so he is right there in the low line. So that's why the choose rule can be huge. Now, is he going to get a good run from Kenny Reel and Smacker right behind him? You never know, right? That's the issue potentially. But we are going to find out. Pace car going to go down in right here, and we're going to get 2 laps to go. Our first overtime attempt. We get 3 overall. Will we get the white flag this time by? I've got a funny feeling we won't. But we will find out together. Here we go. Geico restart zone. Brady and Johnson up front. Who can secure this win? Our first overtime attempt. Geico restart zone, and green flag is out. Man, outside line gets such a good run right there. Really impressive. Michael Johnson, oh no, we're going to get suckered right there into the middle. Not good. Smecker going to be pushing Kenny Reel, though, down low. Does anybody have a move to get around Flagship? Kenny getting a really, really good push here from Smecker, but what can they do? We're going to get half a lap right here to get to the end of the lap. Kenny Reel is there. He is at side by side now. Can somebody steal this win away from Flagship? John Hagan right there as well. We're going to get the white flag here. Yes, we are. Sponsored by Cardano. This is the white flag. 1 lap to go. Who can win this race? Max Brady way down low. I'm not sure what that was about. He completely ditched his line right there. Oh no, Kenny Reel gone. Just like Daytona. Smecker might get a great run right here with Max Brady around him. He does on the outside lane. Side drafts like crazy. Huge wreck. Oh my word. Blaze Crawford goes around like a top. Unbelievable. Kenny Brady in his first race. Oh no. Gonna get around. Does Zelazny have enough of a run here? Zelazny. Not gonna be enough. Or is it? Zelazny. Who won this race? Kenny Brady is being shown as the leader right now. I believe it is Kenny Brady, the winner of the Blackened American Whiskey 272. Unbelievable by 1/1000th of a second at the stripe. The win goes to Kenny Brady. We'll definitely get confirmation for sure. We will absolutely have to get confirmation. But it looks like at the stripe, Kenny Brady is going to win this race. He looked like he was going to be that guy anyway to win. But man, what a job. Zelazny tried to sideswipe him and make it work, and he almost had it. He was so close. Just couldn't get it done. Man, Kenny Brady. One hell of a run. We're going to get that side-by-side shot real quick. So Brady, here we go. We'll go slow-mo for a second. John Hagen way down low right there. So that third place might go away because that is an illegal move. We'll see how that plays out later on. But right now, yeah, Zelazny, yeah, goes below the yellow as well. So that's a tough one. In the photo finish, let's take a look. What? Oh, man. So close. So close. But Kenny Brady gets it done, man, by, what, a car length? A hood? Gets it by a hood. Man, just an incredible job for Kenny Brady to get that thing done. There he is, winner of today's Blackened American Whiskey 272. We'll definitely look at the finishing order just to make sure from race control. I believe the top three might be, or the third spot might be changed around a bit. We'll find out. But we'll come right back, folks, after we get some things in order. We'll come back and talk to your top three. Stick around.
This is a whiskey for those who follow their own path. Bold, flavorful, award-winning whiskey. Born from the finest American straight bourbons and ryes, and reborn in brandy casks, pummeled with sound. Until the only thing left is a reverberating, full-bodied flavor that won't stop when the crowd has gone home. Blackened. This is American whiskey. Remastered.
All right, here we are at the end of the Blackened American Whiskey 272, and Kenny Brady, man, subs in for David Medina and wins right here at Talladega. Unbelievable job. Official order, by the way, is Brady, Zelazny, and then Hagen. Hagen is third. He was forced below the yellow. So race control is going to give him third spot. We're going to bring in the top 3 real quick. As we do, bring in John Hagen first, who did finish in third spot. Let's bring him in real fast. Where is he? John Hagen, here he is. Here he is, John Hagen, man, right here in the 81. Man, what a wild last couple of laps. Either way, you made it work to P3. Already had the win on the season, so looking pretty good in that FU Cancer machine, man. Hey, how'd the race go for you from your end?
It was wild, Steve. I mean, first stage wild, second stage wild. Everybody going for everything. Third stage boring. So luckily we got a caution. But I mean, and then I just got slapped around. And like nobody's fault. Just got punched left, right, center.
Yeah.
Every crash I feel like I was in. But then even that last one before the green white checkered, I was in that one. I was like, whatever, I'm not fixing this. So we sent it and had some momentum. I should have hopped to the top, cleared Brandon 6. I think I could have had a better shot at a win. And then Jackson comes up, starts pushing me on the backstretch. Then he stops for no reason. I'm like, come on. We could have won that, but it's all good. We ended up third, better than I expected. Almost dying in that previous wreck.
Yeah, races like this, I mean, hey, a top 3 is like a win sometimes. You kind of get through it, but good job, man. Hey, real quick, give us a shout outs for any, I don't know, sponsors, friends, family you have. What you get for us?
Shout out Kenny Real and his spotter. Can't remember. Daryl. Kenny Real and his spotter, Daryl. They were awesome hanging out with me in the solo driver group. I'm a free agent, by the way, any of you teams. If you want to pick me up, hit my line. Yeah. Shout out to them. Shout out to you, Steve, putting on this league, and everybody else who works on it behind the scenes. Kent in the race control booth. All the drivers. Shout out my painter, John Smeal. He was the painter for this scheme tonight, the FU Cancer. Awesome scheme to represent Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Also, shout out Brandon Fetterplace. I originally ran this scheme because he inspired me to make one for his loss to cancer, and also my own familial loss to cancer, FU Cancer. Shout out my beautiful girlfriend. She's awesome. She always supports me. And yeah, we'll go get them when we can go get them.
Yes, sir, man. Good stuff. We'll get you next time, dude.
Thank you.
There he is, John Hagen. Man, what a great job for him to get that thing done. We're going to bring in next Trevor Zelazny, man. What a heartbreak for him. I know he wanted to get this win so bad. Here he is, Trevor Zelazny. Man, just a heartbreak for you. I know how bad I'm sure you wanted to get this win, obviously. And by the way, we tried to refresh your paint scheme. It didn't show up, so my bad. But so close. I know you door banged him at the end there. And you were 1/1000th of a second from winning your first race, man. How's it feel, I guess?
I've mixed emotions. I really wanted that one. I've had good cars all season. I might be a stretch, but I'm gonna say I've had top 5 cars all season, especially at Dover. And personal mistakes have really screwed me out of any good finishes. So this is, I mean, I wanted the win, but this is a really good momentum pull for me. Real quick, sorry to Mark Whitley. I know early in the race, I was pushing him real hard. I was getting pushed, and then he went to the bottom. I tried to follow him and kind of got in his right rear and turned him. So that was on me trying to follow him. But no, this is a good momentum pull for the 23 crew, and we're going to look forward with our heads up and keep on trucking.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, really good effort, though. I mean, that win's coming, dude. After a performance like that, that was really, really good. Almost had it, man. Give us real quick any shout-outs you might have, sponsors, friends, and family.
Yeah, I want to shout out Flem Dogs Auto Repair, San Antonio Karting Complex, Wheels America, Texas OEM Wheels, Oasis Sim Racing, Southern Diesel Solutions, and Harpoon Designs for all the paints that the teammates run.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, good stuff. We'll catch you next week. Awesome job, man.
Thank you.
All right, there he is, man. Trevor Zelazny. So close to getting that done. But hey, the man of the hour. Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in here. Here he is, Kenny Brady, man. Look at this. First race in a dub. You gotta love it. Man, that subbing in for David Medina today in the 9. did Flem Dogs in Flagship proud today. Looked really, really good with your teammates. I mean, Max Brady, your brother, obviously Max, and then Blaze. I mean, as a team, I feel like you guys really work together the best, and you got the job done, man. How do you feel, dude?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. We worked really well there at the end, and the cautions kind of fell in our favor, so we could get lined up for the restarts and kind of stick together. I knew I was a sit and duck though, kind of like at the end. I feel like even when you're working as a team, if you come out of turn 4, it's kind of every man for themselves. So I knew I had to probably throw a couple blocks that were really aggressive, but just tried to keep it out front, and we ended up doing so. I took the lead with like 15 to go and just stayed there the whole time. So definitely had a couple cautions, but just stayed out front and had a lot of fun. I mean, the league is very very clean. A lot of clean racing, not a lot of crazy stuff. So that was definitely a lot of fun.
What did you expect to see when Trevor Zelazny, who's behind you, we're watching the replay now of the last lap, and you kind of make a move against your brother, kind of send him into the wall a little bit, and then Zelazny's right there, on your rear end, and I thought for a second he was going to door bang you even harder, and didn't quite get it. But man, what were your thoughts kind of going through that last half of that turn?
Well, and we had a little joking around in Discord before the restart, so I knew I was going to be a sitting duck out of turn 4, whether it be whoever was behind me, I was going to be a sitting duck, which is fine. It's just how it is. So I was kind of mentally preparing to have to throw a block right as we get out of 4, because I knew whoever was behind me wasn't going to wait too long. Better get out front as early as possible out of the final corner. So once Blaze got hooked, I had such a gap to Max behind me. So once Max made his move, I kind of just threw the block right when he did, and obviously I hit him in his left front rather than rather than him hit me in the square in the rear. So obviously once I sent him into the wall, whatever Trevor was gonna do, I saw Trevor coming, and then he got my left rear, so I kind of just pulled it back up. I wasn't gonna door him or nothing. Like I said, I already had hit Max out of the way, so kind of just pulled it to the wall and hopefully beat him to the line, which I did barely. But yeah, Trevor hit me a little. I think he hit me, but like he was doing what he needed to do.
Oh, he sure did.
Just a hell of a finish, It's just
yeah.
That's just plate track racing at its finest. Just hard racing.
Yeah, good stuff. And one more thing. I mean, I knew, man, like after that long green flag run that we had, it was going good. You guys did all the right things. I mean, first through, I think it was 4th, your whole team. And then, I mean, that yellow flag came out, and it kind of just threw a wrench into the whole thing. Obviously, you guys were just in that great spot for a green flag run. And then obviously you guys got right back through it. So that pit stop, I'm guessing you guys took tires and kind of worked it out. Either way, strong enough to get yourself back to the front and take back what was yours to begin with. So good stuff, man. Real quick, any shout outs you want to give out, sponsors or friends and family? What you got for us?
Well, first off, just David for letting me drive this car tonight. I know he must have had something going on where he couldn't race. So first off, thanks to him, and then thanks to Josh Larson and everyone at Flagship Racing or Motorsports. Apologize, I'm new here. Everyone that helped me in the race: Blaze, Max, Trevor, Jackson, Drew. A lot of guys helped me out, and really fun race. And then just you guys for letting me race tonight, and I don't want to forget anyone. Oh, Flem Dogs is on the hood. So Flem Dogs as well. I didn't want to forget them either.
Oh, good, man. Hey, impressive stuff. Great win today. Hopefully we see you soon. And man, awesome job today. Good. Go and celebrate.
Thank you, man. Good.
There he is, Kenny Brady, man, the winner today. We've had so many different winners this season so far. I believe, if I'm correct, this is the 9th different winner, 8th different winner, something like that. But it's been a lot of fun to see, man, how this season has gone. I would say, for the most part, pretty clean considering it's a super speedway race. A lot of good stuff, and a lot of good racing. A couple of craziness going on first half or first stage or two, and then towards the end right here. Well, we definitely expected that. So all in all, great race. Kenny Brady, you're a winner. Another new winner on the season. Doesn't really count though. Not going to get any stage points. Not eligible for the playoffs. But hey, a new winner. is always fun and good stuff. Right now, that's going to be the end of the race, folks. The Blackened American Whiskey 272. We'll catch you next week in Indianapolis for the conclusion of our Mid-Season Madness tournament. Going to be a lot of fun. We'll cover all that pre-race next week. But big thanks to you for being here. If you don't mind, hit the like button and subscribe button. It actually goes quite a bit as far as YouTube algorithm and reachability for people. But all in all, have fun, folks. Have a good night. We love you.